Welcome to Soul Tribe Search Party, your go-to space for real talk, deep reflections, and unfiltered life moments. I'm your host, Breezy, and here we keep it raw, soulful, and authentic. Hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. Hey, Soul Tribe. So I kind of just wanted to, per usual, get on here and reflect, talk to myself about the energy or just whatever it is that I have been feeling lately. It is literally February 6th. I am at home with my baby. We are chilling, but to be honest, like these past few days have been a little odd as far as like how I've been feeling. Not because I've been sick. Well, my son has been sick. He's had a cough. And, honestly, at first I was, when you feel like confident about something, like, like, okay, he's okay. Because you know what symptoms to watch out for when it comes to your kid. And it's like when he gets around certain people, then like they try to instill new worries in you. So I was just like, dang, sometimes I do let others or outside sources interfere with my original thoughts, and that's kind of like what was happening. And I was like getting scared, like, oh no, something like it might be more serious than what it is. But honestly, yesterday I had came to the conclusion that my son is fine. Keep doing what I'm doing. Honestly, I've been giving him this 5 milliliters of orange juice. I saw it on TikTok. People were heating up an orange with salt. It's supposed to be with honey too, but apparently kids under 1 cannot have honey, so I just did it with the salt. And then I put it in a syringe and then give it to him. So I've noticed, so like when I had given it to him yesterday, he started to spit up a few times, and I'm like, okay, like I am hopeful that this is actually working and it's him just spitting up the mucus, because that's really what citrus fruits do. They break down the mucus in your body, so it is a good thing to consume, not only for the vitamin C, but to break up any mucus that you have in your body. But yeah, so that's what I did. He's been fine. And then I don't know, I just feel like there's just a lot going on per usual in the world. I got him over here watching this fruit show, but this man is content with what he has going on. But yeah, I saw some videos on TikTok, for instance, that were talking about like the Great Split, and like basically she was talking about it's not like a physical split, it's a vibrational split. So that's why some people are seeing certain things in one reality and others see different things. So for instance, she used the example of the California fires, like how it was a reality for some people and for others it wasn't. Because, for people like us that don't even live on the West Coast, it's like we just see what we see on TikTok, and we might have a couple family or friends that live out there and they may give you their opinion, but like as far as I'm concerned, I do have family that lives out in Cali. They still live out there. They ain't said nothing about it. Like, I don't know, but the whole basis of it was simply that, just vibrationally, a lot of us are in different spaces, in different worlds. And I do feel like, I don't know if my world is delusion or what, but for the most part, I just be coasting. I be doing what the fuck I want to do. And like, honestly, I don't say too much about it. I just live how I live, right? And the regular, everyday struggles that people try to talk about, I don't ever really engage myself in those conversations because I'm like, your reality is what you make it, right? But then I had some instances where I'm like, damn, have I been lying to myself? Or like, I don't know. Because, so for instance, I've been doing like Amazon runs because that's like my little side hustle, aside from the stuff that I do on a daily basis. Amazon runs are just quick little shits that you can do. I mean, you really do gotta bid for the good shit though. And you don't bid, it's just you watching the app to see the rates and if they're gonna go up. Like literally, they can be a range from $50 to $100 some dollars, for a block. And I just go with the ones that resonate with what I got going on, But like, for instance, this morning I missed my block and I have been going hard in the paint with these Amazon runs. And I think I didn't even really realize how hard I was going because I was literally doing them like every single day, because it's addicting in some aspect, especially when you can get the shit done, however fast you want to or early in the morning. Like, yeah, who doesn't want to wake up and have money before fucking 8 a.m., But I had came to the realization that I have been spamming the Amazon runs and it's sidetracking me because at the end of the day, that's me still in hustle mode. And that is what we are trying to shy away from. We're not trying to remain in hustle mode, where I have a attachment to, like, I have to do this every day for my life to be content or for me to feel in control of my life. Because the thing about that too is, like if you miss a block or say you don't deliver a package because they want to take you out in the middle of fucking nowhere and it's 4 a.m. and don't nobody want to go out in the fucking country at 4 a.m., especially if you a nigga. Like, no, and like they'll say, if you don't feel safe, they're not gonna ding you for it, but they really do like keep track of that shit too. And I understand, because it's business. From a logical standpoint, you're going to keep track if somebody's going to keep, saying they can't deliver something because of their safety. But at the same time, it's like, that shit's realistic as hell because if you're literally delivering every single day, you're more than likely going to run into the same shit, especially when you live in a state that is majority that, So, like, I just had that realization that I have been too in my bag and not even realizing that I've been using the Amazon runs for that. But at the same time, like I have felt balanced in my life, like I'm on the road to being a self-sufficient human being. I be telling everybody that and I mean it. Like I literally don't want to be worried about anything else that's going on in this world because like I am going to be taking care of my home life. Like we're gonna be growing our own food and shit. Like I've started my whole canning journey, which, if you follow me on TikTok, I've been starting to post some of those videos where I'm canning. I literally just started doing it. It's like a new hobby for me. It's something that I'm trying to still get used to. I haven't ate any of the food because I feel like my purpose right now is to try to can at least 1 to 2 things a week. and just start building up my inventory. And really that food is like for a rainy day, like when shit really starts to hit the fan, like, but in the meantime, the money you got is the money you got to do what you want with it, So yeah, I have that going on, and, I really do want to start, like gardening and all the stuff that I want to do in my quote unquote dream life. I'm trying to force myself to get in the habit of doing those things now, because the reality of it is this stuff is not going to happen overnight. And it's not like, oh, when you get a big ass farmhouse or something, life is all of a sudden going to change for you. Like, no, you have to already be in that mindset of who you are and live in that. So I'm trying to go ahead and get into that. And then also, like, when I am feeling less creative, like when I'm not cooking and I'm not producing content, like, the thing about it is I be telling myself, like, that's because you're hustling too much, like you're tired. And when you start doing stuff like that, you're going to lack your creativity because you're not finding balance, with that. And so I do also feel a certain way too when it's like I'm starting to eat out more. But bro, eating out, like, depending on where you go, I only like to eat authentic real food, like like maybe some Vietnamese food, some Indian food, whatever the case may be. I want the real shit. I'm not trying to go to like McDonald's and shit every day because I don't feel like cooking. No, it's not that. But I do tell myself when I wake up and I lack creativity as far as what I want to make for the day, it's because I haven't really been pouring into myself. And I've noticed that. And, I start lacking what I produce for my content, which, honestly, when you're producing content, I don't pay attention to any of the numbers. I don't pay attention to who is watching what, who's doing what. I just literally do it for the discipline and to tell myself, like, this is what I need to do. Like, if this is the life that I'm trying to live, this is what I have to do. Even though content creating is not really my lane, I'm trying to do it because I'm trying to help bring traffic to what it is I really like doing. And that's going to be, eventually my website. I mean, I do have a website now, and it has some free resources on there, some free books that people can get into, which the links can be found in my bio, like on my TikTok and in my YouTube. But I do want to have a resourceful website, as well as, I want to still do my podcast, because podcasting is the best form of, expression for me, aside from writing. I literally journal almost every other day. So it's like between doing that and talking to myself, that is how I best express myself. But I haven't figured out how to make content from me journaling necessarily, because I don't really know. Like, I've seen this one person that they do junk journaling, which is cool. That's a lane. Junk journaling isn't my lane. And I feel like if I just started doing that, I would just be doing it because I don't know. But I like regular journaling, writing my thoughts. I call them brain dumps. That's what I label them every day when I write. It's just me literally letting my brain just think random thoughts and start writing stuff. And I know some people talk about that it's hard to write, but honestly, if you just give yourself time to just be free, you will find that, you can start writing about stuff. And you know what? It might not even be your lane, because that's the same thing as, like, if you see people that are really good at painting and stuff like that, like, that is their mind allowing them to fully express themselves. To which somebody else might be like, yeah, my brain does not let me, freehand like that. And it might not, because we don't all express ourselves the same anyway. So you can try it with writing. Because at first I wasn't a writer. I feel like I was just stuck with my energy, until I found that outlet of writing. So you just got to find what your outlet really is. Yeah. So, there's just been a lot of stuff that I have been reflecting on internally. And I think that I've been spending so much time in my internal world that I haven't, I don't know, when stuff is happening in my external world, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And, even to get like a little personal too, like, for instance, I was getting food stamps, and, they reevaluate you every 3 weeks, 3 months. And I had got my letter that they were going to end at the end of last month, which was January. And I did, send my stuff back in. However, I never receive, they usually call you and whatever, or send you a letter that they, of what you're going to do next. But I had realized they never sent me nothing back. I'm like, I don't know what is going on with these people. But then at the end of the day, and I did try to call them, and it's just so funny because the 2 times I tried to call them, the first time the phone was just on hold for 5 years. And then the second time when I got on hold, the phone literally disconnected. And I'm like, okay, so I really feel like the energy is that I'm supposed to just leave it alone. And I'm just saying this for entertainment purposes, y'all. Please, if the food stamp people are listening to me, but this is not a true story. So anyway, I was just like, this is probably happening because honestly, you make too much money to even qualify for this shit, and it's just better to just leave it alone. Because I've been seeing videos and stuff of people talking about they be trying to come back and, tell people that they owe money. And honestly, the shit don't even really be worth it for what it's worth. Because, they tried to give me more money when I was pregnant versus when I actually had my kid, So it's like I've learned how to survive with nothing, and even with my job having me on maternity leave, they were only paying me 60% of my check, and I wasn't even getting food stamps at that point. They were giving me food stamps, but I think it was literally $100. So it's you can't even really do shit with that. And so in my reality, I'm like, oh shit, stuff can feel like it starts to crumble, and you're in panic mode because you feel like you need it. But then sometimes you have to go back to those times where it's bro, sometimes I was literally making $300 a week with no other assistance, and I was surviving. I was perfectly fine. And it's just crazy because when you make more money and you have more money to play with, all of a sudden you panic when something isn't there anymore. And that's where I'm trying to learn my emotional intelligence, because life really do play with you like that. It's a balance, right? You're not going to be on your high for too long. It fluctuates. And you have to be able to be sustainable regardless of money situations. Because money is just a frequency, right? It's something that is in our minds. And I know that physically it is hard to wrap our head around it, because in our realities, we feel like we have all this shit, that we have to do. We got to do this and that. But it's we really do have to learn how to sit down and look at shit for what it is. it's doable. Life is literally doable with what we have. And it's just crazy how even in those times where we didn't even necessarily know how we were going to do something, it just always happens, because once you lock yourself up and like you freeze up and you feel like now all of a sudden you're less deserving, or shit is not going to happen for you, then that's how your opportunities feel, right? They feel like they're being snatched away. You now can't do anything with yourself, but that's not true. It's not true. And it's like if you open yourself up, and just like how we're supposed to let our emotions flow, if you just let events that are happening in life flow the same, you don't have to necessarily adopt something as a fear. Like me, I don't have to be afraid that my food stamps stop. I'm very aware that I didn't even need them, and it was just nice extra money to have. But don't be greedy, right? Don't be greedy with stuff that you don't actually need, especially when you're not utilizing it. So like if my food stamps is rolling over into the next month and shit, like, yeah, because you're not even taking advantage of what you have, so when you're getting those and eating out and doing all this other shit, or some people even be giving they shit away to other people, that's greed. And that's when opportunities and stuff are going to be taken away from you, because that's not how we're supposed to take advantage of those opportunities. And when we kind of learn how to work with that energy, we understand how the exchange of energy works. And when we're not being greedy, we're doing what we just need to do with what we have. That is when your opportunities come. That is when you'll be like, oh shit, like, stuff is going smooth. But stuff is not always going to be smooth. Like, yes, there are going to be rough patches or bumps. It doesn't mean that that's not necessarily going to work out in your favor, right? It also just means that is life, and it's balance, okay? Balance has to be restored. But the whole point of it is that you stay neutral in that happening, because you are going to see through it, okay? And a lot of shit on social media and stuff tries to steer people in like fear mongering in certain directions. Like even a lot of spiritual people do that shit too, And I mean, some people are cool and they like to talk about the awareness of shit. And, just like I was talking about the person talking about the great split vibrationally, because it's like we don't have to deny that we feel certain ways about things or how things are going. But also like when people start to feel like they are better than other people, or, one side is better than the other, whatever, like that's when it's like, okay, we are losing sight of what really matters, But yeah, I've been saying it, but it's a lot, and I just feel like overall too, like with my relationships with people, I have been so distant, and it's not even just on purpose, but to be honest, I have to preserve my own energy, because like just being a mom every day and trying to find balance with myself and my kid, and just trying to be that person for everybody. I can't, okay? Like I have to be balanced, and I try to just tap into the people that pour into me, because I will always do the same. I reciprocate the same energy. So if I notice that some of my friends are not like reciprocating the same energy, it's not that we're not friends anymore or anything, but I will back up. And I'm backing up because I have to preserve the energy that I have for myself. Like it's not to be stingy or anything, but it's like if every time I'm talking to you, if all you talk about is the negative shit that you got going on, I don't have time for that. Like, of course you want to be there for your friends, but when your friends are constantly putting themselves in the same situations or just whatever the case may be, we're not going to keep talking about the same stuff. Like, sometimes it feels good to be around people that, you know, they are trying to elevate themselves. They are trying to figure some shit out. They know how the world works, you know, and it's very rare to come by people that have that understanding. But, you know, you just do with what you have. I do have some friends that, you know, they're learning spiritually, like, what is going on, and it's cool to see that. But it's like, you know, just as I have a lot of learning and stuff to still do, so do they. And it's just like, I just want to also just give them space to figure that stuff out with themselves. Just because also when I come around, I don't try to come around with heavy baggage, you know, for other people to resolve. My issues, like, yes, when I have a conversation with you, I want to know about the ugly that's been going on. I want to know what your reflection is on that, you know, and I want to know what you're doing now with the energy. Like, I want to hear the whole story all the way through. You know, I don't want to hear what the energy has been doing to you and how you're a victim to it, and how, like, life has just got you down and you're stuck there. Like, no. People need to start taking accountability for what their situations are and what they have going on, and reflect on that. Be honest with yourself and what you have going on. That's really what it comes down to, you know? But yeah, and I've also been trying to fit in going to the gym, you know, being consistent with that, which it feels awesome to do. And just with being a mom, I don't know, like, I was having this reflection with one of my gym friends, because she too is also a mom, and she's further along in her progress of getting back to where, well, I feel like she's surpassing her original self, if I'm being honest, because she has built a lot of muscle, which she has not had before. But, you know, for her, she reflects about how much time it actually took for her to even get into that, you know, and, like, she even has 2 kids, to which her youngest one is 4. So, like, you can imagine how long it took her to identify with who she was during that time between the space of her 2 kids, because her oldest one is 8 now. And it's like, with me and my one, like, I be looking at myself every day like, oh my gosh, like, this stomach does not go away. But my kid is literally only 6 months, and, like, sometimes I forget, like, your body went through that whole transformation for 9 months. So, yes, some people are gifted to have a snapback, like, right after having their kid, but that's okay, you know? Everybody's journey is different. And then, like, sometimes I'll find myself comparing myself to girls in the gym, to which she had to remind me, like, a lot of the gym girlies and influencers and stuff haven't even had kids. And it's like, yeah, of course you can build that body because your body has no experience, right? And I'm not saying that's true for all gym influencers. There's just like the main ones that you'll see on TikTok. They're usually not mothers. Like, they're girls that are in college, you know, or just graduated. And to be honest, like, yeah, I feel that, because, you know, I was an athlete when I was in college, and I understand, like, I don't know, your body just is what it is. It's an immature body, you know, and you can do with it what you want, because that's literally what I was doing when I was in college. But just as an adult now, it is harder to look exactly how you want to look, or as consistent as you want to be. But it's really just your mindset that is holding you back, because it's not necessarily about where you're going, but the journey to get there, and making sure that you're loving yourself, making sure that I'm eating the food that I'm supposed to be eating and not like eating out of emotion, because I am an emotional eater, and I'll be feeling like I'm supposed to have these crazy ass results, but yet my ass will eat 12 cookies in one night and wonder why, shit is going how it's going, because I feel like them cookies were 0 calories or something. But I don't know. I feel like I was talking fast and a lot, but I think it was just stuff this was me doing a brain dump, but verbally, and doing it on my audio journal. Which it felt good to release it, because I'm like, not that I was releasing my energy onto y'all, but I just like to put the vulnerability out there sometimes, because I feel like a lot of people are afraid to be vulnerable with stuff that they're going through. Like, they just try to hide in it, or sulk in stuff. And it's like, bro, it's okay to just identify like these feelings that you're having and then move past it. So yeah, it's okay to feel your feelings and process things. But what you talking about in here? And even with becoming a mom, stuff is hard. It is very hard. Okay, I'm coming. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and end on that note, and tend to my little baby. And until next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. If this resonated with you, don't forget to follow, share, and connect with me on YouTube, TikTok, and my website can be found in my bio. Let's keep the convo going.